everybody, son Goku here!
Welcome to the NoDQ review number. I forgot what the number is, but welcome nonetheless.
Great, enjoy. You're gonna get our perspective, both me and Aaron, who attended WWE Royal Rumble 2025. Take it away, moderator, Virtue.
Welcome back to the NoDQ review number 321 post Royal Rumble. I am the moderator, Virtue, being joined by this week's elite panel of the review. Of course, Aaron Rift is here, Big G, Son Goku, Gino, and TJS. What's going on, everybody? Son, what's going on?
Well, as you guys can see, already was hyped up before the show, ready to give that live perspective of WWE Royal Rumble 2025. What an amazing fun time it was. Thanks for having me, guys.
I was in the middle of retweeting the live video that Aaron posts on X as it just abruptly came right into the review. But here we are. It's going to be a good one. The winners of the Royal Rumble were Jey Uso and Charlotte Flair. And you would think that one of those people would be more polarizing than the other on the win. Probably not the case. Big G, what's going on?
I'm doing pretty good. Enjoyed the Royal Rumble this past weekend. So did the wife. Doing pretty good on that. So just got one word for TJS. Yeet.
Oh, I'm sure he has a few words back for you. It's going to be great. And I am here as well. Like nobody, I don't think TJS knows what side of the coin I'm going to be on with some of these things that happened over the weekend. But I think we all know, TJS, how's it going? What side of the coin you're on?
Yeah, no yeet. That's the side that I'm on. Royal Rumble was good, but I had some issues with it. We'll talk about it. But I will say this. It was not a $50 show. I'm glad that I didn't pay $50 for it. I got my $10 worth. I'll say that. Peacock, love it.
All right, stay tuned. Gino, what's up?
Not too much. As always, honored to be here. Looking forward to the opinions, the very opinionated, polarizing thoughts that we're going to have and share with each other. It's going to be a fun one tonight. Stay tuned, everybody.
All right, stay tuned. I'll pass it over to Aaron. And, I don't know how long we'll be here tonight. I guess that depends if certain people are in the chat doing those super chats. But I don't want to jinx it, so I'm not going to say their name. Aaron, what's going on?
It was a busy weekend for me. I was in Indianapolis for the Royal Rumble, got to meet up with Son, great guy, and love everybody that we hung out with during that meal. I also met Mr. Tito. Mr. Tito wrote his review on NoDQ.com, so check that out. He only got to see one match. Unfortunately, something happened, and he had to leave the building after the first match. But you could check out his column over on NoDQ.com. It was a memorable weekend. It was a historic weekend at the Royal Rumble. I'm very curious to hear everyone's thoughts watching it on television. I did watch back the show when I got home, so I've seen it both in person and on TV on Peacock. So I have both perspectives on it. Shout out to the man 0001 says, hello, friends, and some weird spelling. Is that Walter Cruz's burner account with the spelling?
No. That's actually who you met with me this week, Royal Rumble.
Gotcha.
That's how he always likes to introduce himself to everyone.
Well, let him know that the misspelling of words is Walter Cruz's gimmick. That is gimmick infringement. But yeah, I had a great time at the Royal Rumble. Some fun moments like Alexa Bliss returning, Joe Hendry showing up, 65,000 fans going crazy for Joe Hendry. Wait a minute. No, I'm wrong. It wasn't 65,000. It was 70,000 fans.
That's why, Aaron, there's still when they showed his entrance, and then you know how they always cut to the crowd? I saw people just standing there looking at him, and then you have the marks
and
in between going, which, even at half of that, 35,000 marks going for Joe Hendry is going to drown out the arena. So
who knew TNA had such a big audience?
I'm not denying that it didn't make a sound, and a lot of people were chanting for him. I never said that didn't happen.
I'm surprised that many people watch TNA. I mean, it really goes to show TNA is definitely making a comeback.
Because I mean,
I'll be
it's 35,000. Half of that arena is more than a regular arena. You know, because that's a football stadium that they were in.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, as someone who wasn't very familiar but have heard a lot about Joe Hendry, I definitely became a believer because, my gosh, everybody all over the area, I was like, holy crap. So I'm like, yeah, there's a lot to this guy. So that was my first time ever seeing him at all. I've heard the music, but yeah, I say he made a believer out of me.
And remember Rusev Day, how hot that was. Remember Kofi Mania.
Yep.
But what was the lifespan? So, granted, you take anything you can get in wrestling, so I'm sure Joe Hendry would take any run like those guys. Well, even Rusev to a point is Rusev Day. He sold a lot of merch. All right.
Yep, he did.
Aaron, anything else before we get this ball rolling?
Yeah, and it was quite the experience to see main event Jey Uso win the Rumble and eliminate John Cena. Big swerve. You know, there's fans out there that just complain everything is so predictable, they say. And they get a swerve, they get a curveball, and there's still people that are not happy.
And Aaron, because when they hear what they think is supposed to happen, because the dirt sheets are in the know, but then it doesn't happen, they're mad. Because wait, it's supposed to happen how you said it was going to happen. The odds-on favorite with John Cena, Vegas betting line and everything, but he didn't win. How could that be? We're wrestling fans, smart to the business because of the internet.
Hey, Virtue.
But then there are people, and I'm going to give TJS his chance coming up here, that just don't like somebody not for those reasons, but for other reasons. So, you know, I'm sure that those people have their opinions, and it's not just all about being a blind sheep.
Yeah. Hey, Virtue, how were these fans? What would be your impression of these fans when Jey Uso won? Some of these very critical fans that went on Cage Match and gave the match a 5 or gave it a dislike on YouTube. How do you think they reacted in their room?
So those were probably the fans that were thinking CM Punk, or just expecting John Cena. And so then that curveball came at him when Cena's basically jumped down, and they just had to go. They're thinking, damn.
Somebody,
Jey
I
Uso
saw somebody on.
go through twice. And his
Somebody
match with Jimmy, shut up, Big G. His match with Jimmy last year was just a super kick fest. And it's just Jey Uso. He's a tag team guy that really just was in Roman's shadow and still is kind of. I don't get it. That's what they would do, or that's what they did.
Right. And I'm still not understanding why people were so negative on that WrestleMania match. Was it a great WrestleMania match? No, but people saying it's the worst WrestleMania match of all time when you got like Giant Gonzalez versus Undertaker and all those hardcore matches that were nothing matches and so many bad WrestleMania matches over the years. And you say that's the worst WrestleMania match of all time when you got Michael Cole versus Jerry Lawler. Like, come on now. The match was fine.
For me, like I only wish Cena would have just won it and get booked against Cody, so that would be out of the way, and I wouldn't be drug along onto Roman's status, for WrestleMania, CM Punk status. But WWE's keeping me drug along to watch the shows to see what happens.
Anybody that says Gonzalez and Undertaker was a better match than the Usos at WrestleMania, I think you need to get your head checked. I think you're not playing with a full deck if you believe that. You're a few French fries short of a Happy Meal if that's what you believe.
Aaron, are we ready to start? Because we're going to start about the Royal Rumble fallout. I know I want to talk a little bit about Roman Reigns and a little bit about The Rock, but first we'll cover what happened at the Rumble. Are you caught up right now? Can you come back to Super Chats?
Well, let me read this one real quick from the man 0001. I've been misspelling words since 1994. So there you go. I got that one correct. Unfortunately, we don't have Walter tonight. Walter can read bad text messages with misspellings. He's a master at that. I'm not so good, but I think I got that one all right. Yeah, I'm ready to go, Virtue. I really want to hear TJS's thoughts. TJS said no yeet at the beginning of this, so I gotta hear his thought process on this, why he's no yeet. So stay tuned, everybody. This is going to be a fun no DQ review. Tell your friends, share a link to this video if you're watching live, and let's get to it.
I'm going to give people a chance to start because I know some people start late, not right, 15, 20 minutes into the show. First topic, we are going to talk about Royal Rumble fallout. Jey Uso won the men's Royal Rumble match. He now is going to WrestleMania to challenge for one of the two main titles. Charlotte Flair returned and won the women's match. She's going to also do that for the women's side. And then, of course, we knew Cody was going to retain, and he did. So let's just kind of give our thoughts here. Primarily, I'm sure the most interesting things are the 2 Royal Rumble winners. I'm going to go to Son first because he's always positive, gives that perspective about a fan that's happy, that rarely gets upset about anything and has reason. So before TJS, you're going to have to wait, sit there and stew. I'm going to fuel the pot with hopefully people that are happy with that Jey won. So Son, kick it off for us, please.
All right, well, let's go ahead and, well, let me just say, being there in person, the Royal Rumble is a tremendous experience. Such a fast-paced moving thing. Like, I was sitting up in my seat up and down every 10 seconds. It is just so much fun seeing it in person. In terms of the women's, I had only 2 people that I'm pretty sure was going to win. Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair. Of course, one of them were going to leave as the first ever women to win the Royal Rumble twice. And, of course, I was going for Bianca Belair. And Nia Jax, she got me to boo legitimately when she knocked out 7 women and I saw Bianca was in that part. I was like, no! Because I really want to see that Rhea and Bianca match at WrestleMania. But Charlotte Flair winning, like I said, if it was going to be Bianca, I expected Charlotte Flair. I'm really hoping that Charlotte Flair is winning. First of all, glad that she's back because whether you like her or not, I think it's a terrible thing when any professional wrestler gets injured and they have to lose that much time of their career. That sucks, honestly. So I'm glad she's able to come back and do what she loves. That being said, is it my first choice to win? No, I would have preferred Bianca, but Charlotte winning, Charlotte wins. And now she's going to go to face on most likely Tiffany Stratton. And I think this could definitely be a great opportunity to really use someone like Charlotte Flair with how much they've pushed her over the years to use her star power to go ahead and put over Tiffany Stratton. So hopefully that's where we end up going with it. But honestly, I would say when it comes to Charlotte Flair's booking, what over the last 10 years would make anyone really surprised WWE would go that route. They make it very established how high Charlotte Flair is on the pecking order and everything. So overall, I expected it. Then for the men's Royal Rumble, I was all so much for CM Punk. And I think one of the most hugest high, low energy moments I've ever experienced in person is when CM Punk eliminated Roman Reigns and John Cena. I was like, yes, CM Punk's got this. CM Punk's got it. And then Logan Paul throws him out and I was like, no! And I started booing.
CM Punk eliminated Roman Reigns and who? Because I swear I heard you say John Cena, which we know that's.
Did I? Oh, Seth Rollins. Okay, yeah, I messed that up. Okay, so yeah, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins eliminated by CM Punk, and then Logan Paul, and so eliminated Punk afterwards. And I was like, man, and I after I settled down, I was like, man, they really got me to legitimately boo Logan Paul there, and it's good to be able to forget as a fan, go like, wow, that was some really good heel. He got me there. And at the end, I thought John Cena was going to win. And once, Logan got eliminated, I'm like, there's no way. Are they going to actually do this? And I thought it when they did that camera angle up top and John Cena had him in the AA and Jey Uso pushes him off. I probably was the first person to react. I was like, yeah! I lost my voice, man. Jey Uso was super over. I'm glad that he's win because, man, that was the biggest complaint that I think many of us had over the years in 2010s with Vince McMahon's booking is how many times did we see guys or gals get super hot with the audience? They're doing the merchandise sales. They're bringing in ratings, and yet they don't get pushed. So I'm glad to see Triple H look at Jey Uso and be like, yeah, let's go ahead and push this guy. And a little outside perspective, and I told Aaron this, he saw it too. All over the streets of Indianapolis, people were dressed head and toe from ages 8 to 80. People of all different ages were dressed and decked out in Jey Uso gear, like walking around like, holy crap. You see how over this guy really is. And overall, fun Royal Rumble, fun ladder match. I enjoyed the 2 out of 3 falls match, just really good, great moments. The crowd pop for Alexa Bliss was insane, and the crowd pop for IShow Speed even insane as well. And props to that guy, by the way, to not be a wrestler and get in there and take the punishment he did from Braun Breaker and Otis. Fantastic stuff. Overall, fun show. I'll go more in depth on my own channel in terms of review, but those are the cliff notes.
All right, well, thank you for that. And now I'm still going to make TJS wait, and I'm going to go to Big G. Big G, who is a yeeter.
A yeeter for life. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, overall, I enjoyed the pay-per-view from start to finish. My wife, who's not a big wrestling fan, she watched the Rumble with me. Mostly just the 2 Rumble matches. First of all, the women's match I thought was done well. Um, Son, I didn't hear you, but what was your reaction when Alexa Bliss came out? Like, nobody knew Alexa was coming out. How was your reaction?
Yeah, I was crazy. We saw the dun, 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 dun. So we heard the initial beat, and then Alexa Bliss's name popped up, and it was like, yeah, like I was
Yeah,
so excited. I will. Oh, I was just
Go
gonna say
ahead.
I did not get caught up into the whole stuff that they were saying online. I was telling everybody the same thing. I'm like, honestly, that's her own personal business with her and WWE and the
Yeah.
money and all that stuff. If she shows up, she does. If she doesn't, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not getting into that.
Yeah.
But when she did show up, that's awesome. And I did find Michael Cole's commentary hilarious on that moment.
Yeah, it was a great reaction for her. And since Virtue likes us to be very specific with our numbers, I wouldn't say 70,000 people were cheering for Alexa Bliss, but I'd say probably 55 to 60,000 of the
Dude,
70,000 were
if
cheering
any
for her.
wrestler has half of the arena going bonkers for them, that's going to drown out the ones that aren't, and it's going to
Yeah.
sound great.
Yeah.
So like that's a
Yeah.
kudos to all of those wrestlers who got reactions.
Yeah,
And
for
I'll
sure.
say this,
So-
very
Joe
touching
Hendry.
response too from Alexa Bliss, where she had Fiend Forever, but in white letterings, it ended up saying Friend
Yeah.
Forever. Touching.
Yeah. But yeah, so Alexa Bliss, I literally jumped out of my couch, like seeing Alexa Bliss after almost not seeing her for 2 years, like awesome. The NXT girls, women that got their shine in the Rumble was awesome for them too. I know Virtue and Aaron really don't know much about them. Well, I'm sure Aaron does a little bit. I don't know if Virtue does. But and then Charlotte Flair coming out with the pomp and circumstances with the pyro and stuff like that. I was glad she won. She won me some money that night, so I was happy with that. Charlotte winning, she was the only obvious choice that I could see winning. Maybe Bianca Belair, but she's in the whole tag thing, and she's got this storyline with Jade probably coming up for WrestleMania. So Charlotte was the only choice, and I'm not mad about Charlotte losing, And
Charlotte losing.
I meant Charlotte winning. Sorry.
I'm hearing things right.
Yeah, no. The 2 out of 3 falls match I thought was good. The ladder match I thought was good between Cody and KO. That spot onto the ladder. That was just, I don't know how loud the loud reaction was in this in the football stadium, but I was just like, holy crap. All right, on to the men's Rumble. It was cool seeing Ray and Penta start off the match, get that high flying, high paced style going off to get everybody excited. Then you had, not the bigger stars, but you had the stars come out. You had people come out. Joe Hendry came out at 15. AJ Styles came back with his own theme song. Thank the freaking gods for that. I was expecting to hear his old theme song, and then when I heard that, I was like, oh, hell yeah. I was like, thank you. Then later on, that's when everybody started coming out. You had Cena come out, Punk come out, Roman come out, Rollins come out. I was like thinking and Jay coming out, obviously. And I'm thinking, okay, they got everybody's coming out. I'm like, who else is there that's a big enough star? And then 30 hits. I was like, holy shit, Logan Paul hasn't come out yet. And
We talked about that.
Shout out to Braun Breaker and Jacob Fatu. I thought they had awesome showings so did Penta. Penta was apparently the Iron Man of the match, being in there for 42 minutes.
Do you think he botched too much?
I mean, the whole thing with his feet touching, it's his first Rumble. There's a whole lot going on. The refs were and the refs didn't see it out. The refs didn't see it, obviously. So, I loved Wade Barrett's not reaction, but references to the NFL refs and stuff like that throughout the show. And but yeah, then you get down to the final three: Logan, Cena, and Jey. I was like, okay. I was like, Cena's definitely winning this. And then Cena eliminates Logan, and then it's just Jey. And I'm like thinking to myself, are they really gonna do this with Jey? I was like, this would be freaking awesome. And they did. Cena had the attitude adjustment. Jey went back in the ring, pushed him. Cena was in awe. And then, like, I literally just stood up and I was just in shock. Like, a happy shock. Like, Jey Uso freaking deserves this. A lot of people, I looked at the YouTube video, there's a lot more dislikes than likes, but you know what? Those people can suck it because Jey Uso's put in the work. He's put in the time.
It's CM Punk fans. That's the root.
And when we get to Roman, I'll talk about the possibilities, what there is for him and Punk and Rollins for WrestleMania. But I was so happy for Jey. Like I said, he deserves it. He started off with his tag team with his brother. He's been in a tag team for like the longest time. Did his thing with Roman, became main event. You could tell that he was ready for a main event push when he had that feud with Roman Reigns. You knew when he was with the Roman that one day, like, he'd be up there. He had his short stint with the IFC title, and then he had his feuds, his match with Gunther the weekend before the Rumble, and like Son said, like any wrestling show you go to, when I went to WrestleMania 40, the Yeet thing wasn't as big as it was yet. It was just the beginning of the whole Yeet thing, and I saw people cosplay as Jey Uso on TikTok. There's a whole bunch of like wrestling content that are like when they go to shows that they're dressing up as Jey Uso and stuff like that. He's like Son said, you had Rusev Day and Zack Ryder. Oh, I don't know if it's Zack Ryder, but you had all those guys back during Vince's time, and they had all the momentum, all the merch sales, but he would never push them. Triple H is taking a gamble on Jey Uso because of how over he is with the crowd.
Yeah. Let me add something to that. Jey Uso was over before Yeet. People act like, oh, it's just a catchphrase. He's just a catchphrase.
You're very true. He was over before the Yeet. Yeah.
It was that Roman Reigns storyline that took him to the next level. He was over with Jimmy. The Usos, great, one of the best WWE tag teams of all time.
Yeah.
And once he got into that singles role, that storyline got fans behind him.
I think the Yeet just put it over.
It's kind of like Bryan Danielson.
Exactly.
Daniel Bryan was very popular with fans.
Yeah.
But then the yes chant is what just took him one step higher.
And it took him forever to like get to this status, but like I said, he deserves it. And I'm sure later down the road we'll talk about him potentially facing Gunther again or Cody Rhodes. We don't know where this is going to go. Virtue even said in the messages,
it's a two-champion system, so that's why people like Jey Uso can win.
Yep.
They can.
Yeah.
They don't always have to have a top star. I mean, it caught people by surprise. Like we might have said last week that Jey Uso could win a world title this year. Yeah. No one thought he was going to win the Royal Rumble.
No,
right? Bigger names, but that's what they did.
But
Son,
Oh, go ahead, Son.
Yeah, I was just gonna say right quick. Honestly, this just goes to show. I remember when the Shield first ended in their first couple of years. Aaron said he thinks they can become one of the greatest factions of all time. But let's see how all three guys are followed up, and all three guys have done a great job running the biggest two companies. I think you can look at the Bloodline story the same way. The Bloodline story pretty much is phased down, but everybody that was a key player in that storyline is still doing something big. So Jey Uso winning once again justifies more the time and effort they put in to the Bloodline story.
Yep.
Now, before I end it, this is what irritates me. People like Aaron said, and I think Son said it too. People complain that we always got somebody the same that would win the Rumble. Yeah, this is Cena's last year, his last Rumble. We want him to see him win the 17th world title. We want him to see main event WrestleMania, but Cena's done this. You know, he's a 2-time Royal Rumble winner. You know, would people have been mad if Roman won the Rumble? Possibly, you know, because here we go with Roman Reigns again, going on a long streak. But we got something fresh. We got something new. Something nobody expected us to see in Jey Uso winning, and the fans complaining and moaning, "Oh, Jey shouldn't have won. It should have been Cena because it was last year." Get over yourselves, people. Like, seriously, just get over yourselves. It's you know, the storyline is scripted and it's predetermined who's going to win, but we didn't know who was going to win. This year was one of the.
They like having Jey win. Now they're open. If something happens and Dwayne calls them and says, "Hey, I'm good to go," they can plug Dwayne in still. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because Jey winning, it gives them flexibility. It almost buys them more time to figure out the other main event.
Yeah.
So
And
based on what happened last year, that could be a factor why Jey was chosen this year too.
Yeah. But it just I don't know, it just irritates me, like, to see people complaining about I don't know, I'm not flustered or frustrated. I don't know the words to get out.
Might be after TJS goes. So the sooner you wrap up, the sooner we get
to him, and
then you can come back.
Yeah.
But before, are you good, Big G?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Before I go to
don't wanna get
TJS,
too
Gino.
riled up.
We'll go to Gino.
Wow, you're really making TJS sing for his supper. I cannot wait to hear what TJS has to say and to potentially rebut that. I really like starting with this topic, Virtue, because it kind of feeds into the other two topics we're going to talk about. So I thought that's a very, very good decision from a moderator to have that done. So some quick notes as I was watching the event. The ticker, I seen it in the chat. That lower third ticker that was giving us information, X person eliminated. I really wish that maybe they could have gone a little bit further. They probably will next year by Y person, right? But it was just saying X eliminated. That was great, especially when when the 7 in the women's match. It was boom, 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 boom. They couldn't even get it out fast enough before somebody else went over. In the women's match, Alexa Bliss is my favorite WWE women's wrestler. When she came back and that like my brain didn't even process it because it was the first few beats of the song that I like when she was the goddess. So like I was like, no. And then her name came up, like you said, song, and I literally, like, you lost your voice, you were at the event. I lost my voice and I was sitting at my buddy's living room. That's what the Royal Rumble brings. That's why the Royal Rumble is just such an amazing event. And that's why I love it so much. Liv eliminating Alexa is such a great use of eliminating Alexa, because if she wasn't going to win, you better make the biggest heel you have, other than Nia, do that. And I thought that was a great job. Now, kind of touching on the men's Rumble, Rey before Penta, I thought was an interesting choice, because if at least it was Penta first, then we would instantly recognize Rey's music and know we're about to get a luchador versus luchador. I feel like there was a little bit of delay because we're still not that familiar with Penta's music yet. He's only been here for a little bit. So we didn't realize until half an hour, oh yeah, we're going to get him versus Rey, which is awesome. I thought maybe switching that might have been better, especially if he was going to go as long as he did. Realistically, I'm already over the Cero Miedo. He did that way too much in that match. The only time I felt like it meant anything was when he did it to Jacob Fatu, because that is somebody you should genuinely be afraid of. Joe Hendry music, it was hit, and maybe not the entire crowd was into it. I know I was kind of blue balled a little bit when he didn't even get to finish his song, which is why I predicted him to come out at 1 or 2, just because you get the full finish of the song. It doesn't take away anything from the match, but that is just something that I made a mention of. AJ and his old music, no notes. More of that, please. Okay, so the tag team match, nobody's talking about for good or for bad reason. We'll just move on. And I'm just going to kind of go back into the Rumble because that's what everybody wants to talk about. So Jey wins. Everybody wants to hate on new faces in main event spots. Everybody's like, do we want to see Gunther versus Jey? Did we want to see Priest versus Gunther? I mean, I was a part of that discussion come SummerSlam a while back. but WWE is building up new people, not necessarily good guys, but new faces, people that the crowd is showing they can get behind because they're behind Damian Priest. I mean, I still love Gunther and everything that he does. But WWE is in the business of building new stars. One of the issues I have with AEW is they refuse to do that. Yes, through the Bloodline storyline and through taking organic feels of the crowd. So Jey is hot right now. They're striking while the iron is hot, which is something we wanted WWE to do with LA Knight when he was at his peak. When even like you mentioned earlier, Virtue, Rusev Day, and things of that nature, right? Like we do want WWE to strike while the iron's hot, right? Somebody mentioned in the chat, if Vince McMahon was still booking this Rumble, I doubt it would have gone this way, right? But I do like the precedent that it sets with Triple H's first full booking of a Rumble with the with the prior creative going into it. It's not just, oh, I got to do this because the Vince thing just happened. So he gets to set up that, listen, if you catch hot at the right time, just like a sports team, I know we don't like to talk about a lot of sports, but if a pro team gets hot come playoff time, they can parlay that into a championship, right? So I do like that for the wrestlers themselves. Now, to speak to the antithesis of that, Charlotte wins, predictable, right? Whatever. And people are also booing her. So like, it's like they want to have their cake and they want to eat it too. They want it to be predictable, but they don't want to feel like people are shoved down our throats. It's like, all right, well, can you not talk out of both of your mouths for a second? I did like that she addressed the booing and didn't just kind of ignore it, but that's another topic for another day. Charlotte is the biggest women's wrestler on the main and the biggest main eventer that they have. So, like that's just her role, right? If Cena had won and Charlotte had won, people would have been mad at Charlotte, but happy that Cena won. It's like, where do we draw the line there? Now, I understand some of the complaints. I've had them myself. That meme that you sent, TJS, and I really can't wait to hear you speak as well, but that meme that you sent with just the controller face buttons, and it's just 4 different moves. It's press this, yeet, super kick, splash, bad spear. That was hilarious. And there is a lot of that with the Jey matches, which is why him versus brother wasn't the match that it could have been, that it probably should have been when WrestleMania was won. But he's putting on good matches, and putting on good matches doesn't necessarily mean, oh, you're doing a list of 1,000 holds or whatever, right? It's storytelling, it's in-ring psychology, and he does that well. Cena did that well. Yes, he had his 5 moves of doom, which is basically like an extendedly long comeback / finisher. And Jey, at least there's a little bit, the order can vary. It's not just, the duck under, clothesline, the shoulder tackle, the 5-knuckle shuffle. So his moveset is just simple, right? But it's working. And as for those who say that, it won't go on last on either night, which is a legitimate criticism, right? I would say something to those lines. Listen, there's 2 Royal Rumble winners. They're both touted as going to be main eventing WrestleMania. And as far as I recall, since they've had both matches and 2 nights of WrestleMania, both Rumble winners haven't main evented their respective nights. Right. So there is a little bit of, maybe he doesn't main event it. Maybe they put the Charlotte Tiffy match above that. I doubt that. But all of that has to be at least acknowledged, right? Because it's a possibility, right? You both get the main event, but really only one person gets the main event, and really only one match gets the main event.
I'm going to say neither Royal Rumble winner this year will close either night. I'm going to say that right now. Neither one will.
And I fully believe that that's the case, which could be feeding into some people's getting upset, right? But it very much feels like, and especially after watching Raw. Now, I thought this prior to watching Raw, but it just feels like they're setting up Elimination Chamber to be all the heavy hitters. You're probably going to have Roman you're definitely going to have Cena. We're going to have Punk. You're probably definitely going to have Seth, maybe a Drew or a Logan Paul. So all those big guys that, the top stars, I wouldn't be surprised if that chamber match includes Cody for the WWE Championship. So then, theoretically, you could have Roman versus Jey for the title. You could have all of these different things. So we still don't know where we go from here. We suspect we know where we're going from here. But like you said, Virtue, many times, they didn't even introduce The Rock into the storyline last year until post WrestleMania.
Well, you know,
Or,
first
sorry,
of all,
post-Royal Rumble.
Big G, go ahead.
I was going to say the Chambers this year, there's no titles on the line. They clearly stated yesterday that they're getting a title shot at Mania. Whoever wins will get the title shot at the other challenger, at the other champion. So
Thank you,
Funny
Big G.
thing
Yes.
is if Jey Uso picks Gunther, then the winner of the Elimination Chamber match is more likely to get the main event of WrestleMania, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. I mean, to defend
they're-
the critics of Jey Uso winning, him versus Gunther is very unlikely to be the closing match of either night of WrestleMania.
Now, Gino, are you good? You get everything?
I still have just a little bit more.
Okay.
So you asked, are we happy that Jay won? No. Am I fine with it? Absolutely. Right. I
I'm
predicted
happy
Roman
Jey
and
won.
Charlotte. And again, I agree with Song. It sets a good precedent moving forward for the wrestlers.
Now,
So that will be where we finally get to hear what TJS has to say.
if there was ever a perfect time for if he was available, they were going to have the match with him and Cody. If there ever was a perfect time for there to be a 31 is after Jay wins the Royal Rumble, the final boss comes out. Somehow it's announced that because of his power, he put himself at 31 and he won it. That to me would have been epic. But right, Dwayne's probably busy. Sucks for the people that wanted it. We sacrificed the Roman match last year and we got a little carrot of Rock and Cody to fill in, and we're not even going to get that again. But Jay winning the Rumble could be for a reason because they needed more time to sort out the other main event. With that said, go ahead, TJS.
All right. Well,
Forget what you were going to say.
No. I've been thinking about it, and I found a good way to utilize Jay at WrestleMania. He can challenge the tag team champions at WrestleMania, and then I'll feel better since he won the Rumble. Him and Jimmy can challenge the tag champions, and I'll feel better. No, but I'll just go through the other Rumble matches really quick. The women's match was fine. I expected Charlotte to win. No surprise. Decent match. Tag team match. I mean, it was okay. Aaron said this. He said it was kind of short. I agree. I thought it would be a little bit longer since it was a 2 out of 3 falls. Nope. The ladder match was good. I hate that Kevin lost again, but they kind of gave him an out whenever he beat up Sammy on Raw. So I guess he's just going to kind of gaslight Sammy and be like, oh, I thought you had my back, blah, blah, blah. And then we get to the men's Rumble.
First of all, TJS, because I can't remember. I don't know if you were on the video or not. Who did you pick? Who was your number one choice?
John Cena.
Going in. Okay.
Yep.
Because what you wanted him to main event with Cody because you figured Rock wasn't going to be there, or you were just saying, hey, this is what I've heard, that he's the favorite. Like, why John Cena?
So I came around on John Cena like in 2015 to 2016 whenever he won the U.S. title. And I was just like, man, this guy, you know what? He's great, you know. People can talk all the smack they want, but I think Cena's awesome. And then whenever he cut his farewell promo or his retirement tour announcement in Toronto, I was like, oh, man, if this is going to be his last Rumble, I'm really hoping that he wins because it's his last Rumble. You know, it's John Cena, and he's been giving back for years. So, like, he hasn't won a singles match since, what, like 2018 or something like that. It's been a long time. And I was thinking, like, oh, yeah, I think they should have Cena win this. And when it was down to Jay and Cena, I was like, oh, Jay is going to be the runner-up for the Rumble. That's good. You know, that'll be good on his track record. Maybe he can win next year. And then they do the worst possible thing.
Worst possible thing. Why is it the worst possible thing?
This would be like if Matt Jackson beat Jon Moxley for the AEW World Title.
But here's the difference, TJS.
Matt Jackson is not even 1/10 the level of overness as
Here's the difference. In 2020, during the pandemic, when Roman Reigns sacrificed everything and changed his gimmick and aligned with Paul Heyman, the first guy he decided to feud with was Jay, to recruit the Jay to start the bloodline angle. And through all the stuff that happened, I don't give a damn what the tribal chief says, Jay was clearly There was an aura about him that Reigns helped create. So again, no, we didn't expect it, but Jey won in a 2-champion system where you can have a guy like Jey win. So are you crapping on Roman Reigns? He put out a tweet within 20 minutes of Jey winning, and it said yeet. So when I see somebody like you coming out crapping on Jey, you know, and it's fine for you to like Cena. I've come around on John Cena too. You're also crapping on Roman Reigns, the guy that built Jey up to this spot. What do you got to say about that?
Well, you know, I liked Jey a lot more before he started doing this yeet stuff. So like you mentioned, I don't give a damn what the tribal chief thinks. I thought that was awesome. And he did have good matches with Reigns, but Jey has already had his cute little run. He was the Intercontinental Champion, and I felt like that was nothing special, you know? I was not blown away, and I'm really never blown away by his matches. And I'm not a work rate guy. I'm not saying like we need 5-star classics, but if you go back and look at Uso versus Uso at WrestleMania, that was not the worst match ever. But again, it was probably the worst match on that show. And then Jey and this is another thing, Jey just lost to Gunther last month in a 15-minute TV match. He lost
and
clean.
A 4.5-star match, according to the great Dave Meltzer.
Yeah, well, I
thought Jey was a bad wrestler.
He lost. That's my issue. We've seen it, and now I feel like we're going to get Gunther versus Uso at WrestleMania, and that's just the equivalent of Alberto Del Rio versus Jack Swagger at WrestleMania 29.
All right, Big G, real quick.
All right, TJS. Before Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart were big stars, were they not tag teams? Were they not IC titles? The IC title is what built them up to the main championship. He is chasing the title. He is having a feud with Gunther. We don't get a lot of feuds nowadays. And how many times have we had rematches in WWE? We always get rematches in WWE. It's nothing new. So what if we get Jey and Gunther at Mania? Gunther is one of the best heels out there right now. Yeah, his world title run isn't all the best right now, but he's up there. He is one of Triple H's guys. He is there for a reason. And Jey Uso is, I'm sorry to say, I love CM Punk, I love Cody, but I think Jey Uso is the #1 babyface in WWE right now.
Remember, I kind of said that way back. At least in arena. I don't know about outside the arena. But all right, Gino, did you have something quick? I do want to get back to TJS.
Yeah, just as a rebuttal to TJS, right? You know, I mentioned this on my predictions. Like the Royal Rumble used to be for people's like, this is the only way they can get a shot. Or, you know, like back when Stone Cold was winning it, like if he didn't do that, you know, he was going to be buried by the man or whatever. Like Jey Uso, you know, he lost his match, but that's what the Royal Rumble's for. It's for 30 people to have a fair shot at getting the opportunity to main event WrestleMania. And it does, again, set this kind of expectation move, not even expectation. Like, we don't know if just because there's one big name and one small name there. I mean, you know, Gunther was runner-up for the last couple of years at the Royal Rumble. Like, you know, it's nice to see somebody who definitely has a future, at least temporarily, kind of go over in a way that's built for not the best of the best to always win.
All right, TJS, now this is in your favor here. One issue that I have with Jey winning is if he picks Gunther, Cody is the most prestigious champion. He beat Roman. That's what blows my mind, especially somebody like Jey who wants to prove himself. You would think automatically that's what's going to make SmackDown interesting, to kind of see how he diverts from that. How do you not challenge Cody? Like, he's got that spot. How do you not make Cody you're like that? That's just insane.
You know, Virtue. I almost wish they would do that, because I think that that would be a really interesting match. Jey Uso versus Cody Rhodes, and then John Cena goes for Gunther, which is what I always thought they were going to do from the get-go. I always thought when Cena announced the retirement, my first thought was John Cena versus Gunther for the 17th world title. So I actually would rather see that.
It hasn't been announced yet. We're led to believe that he's picking Gunther. There could be a bombshell on SmackDown this week.
I mean, maybe there's
there you go,
maybe
TJ.
another swerve coming. Maybe
back
Jey
to you to finish
Uso,
up.
Jey Uso goes with Cody. Maybe that's what they do.
Yeah, but then he's just going to go lose to Cody because do
Not
you
necessarily.
really think Jey Uso is the guy that beats Cody after Cody beat Roman? I don't.
Based on Roman and how he pushes his family and used Jey to push Jey to that next level off of him, why would that not be a great thing for the Samoans?
That's true. I mean, I guess the thing that frustrates me about this is I've wanted Punk to win the Rumble 2 years in a row now.
There it is. There it is. Cena and Punk didn't win.
Yeah.
That's it. That's why you're
well,
mad.
I feel that.
Win,
I wanted
mad.
it too.
Rock didn't show up. I'm not mad.
But
I'm still happy for Jey though.
Punk has been he has been the one that's been, he's been wanting to main event WrestleMania for so long.
And
Well,
Sami
with
Zayn
Roman
and many
Reigns
others.
and a program with Roman Reigns, that will give Roman another accolade of he got Jey up to the main event. He's going to give Punk his WrestleMania main event. Go Roman. Making me look even better over the years for being the guy that was defending this guy as a business changer.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that Jey has the Roman Reigns rub, but I don't know. I feel like him winning the Rumble is not necessary for us to get to the point that we're at. Why couldn't he just win the Chamber instead? Why couldn't Cena win the Rumble, Jey win the Chamber?
Fair point. I mean,
Right.
unless they are going with what we just said, and it's Cody Rhodes versus versus Jey Uso and John Cena versus Gunther.
I've just seen so many come and go that I thought were better than Jey. Like Rusev, I thought Rusev Day was more over than Yeet. Zack Ryder, more over than Yeet. There's been so many. You didn't think so?
Nah, I mean, Rusev Day was a tough call there.
Rusev Day.
Zack Ryder, I can't go with you on that one.
I can only say that being at the events, Jey Uso had unanimous fan support at every show I've been to over the last few years, whether it was Madison Square Garden in New York City or SummerSlam Ford Field, 50,000 people. Granted, Jey got the opportunities that those guys didn't get.
Exactly. Yeah, and LA Knight, that's another one. And LA Knight is only 2 years older than Jey. So I don't understand,
WWE invested years in this Jey Uso storyline. It's not like Jey just became – it's not like Joe Hendry, with all due respect to Joe Hendry, where the guy just got hot real quick and he's the flavor of the month. And then people get mad when they don't push him. Jey Uso was several years in the making where they were building him up. It wasn't just like, oh my God, he's saying yeet, let's put him in the main event or have him win the Royal Rumble. Like, this was years in the making.
He's homegrown, I guess is what you're trying to say, Aaron. And I think that Jey has worked very hard. Like I've always thought that, from the beginning, this guy's been, grinding. And I think I read something about him having the most matches out of anyone, over the last year. That's great. I'm just not looking forward to whatever's going to happen at WrestleMania because I feel like he's either going to lose to Cody or he's going to be in a match that's not the main event to Gunther and beat him, and then no one's going to really remember it.
Yeah. I think Jey Uso is more like a Bryan Danielson, a guy who was popular for years and was having great matches. Despite what people say, the Usos had some awesome matches, whether it was with The Bar or The New Day. They had some excellent feuds over the years. And I think Jey Uso is a really good wrestler. I think he's very charismatic, entertaining. I think his promos are better than people give him credit for. And he worked his way to the top. People get behind his story. With Zack Ryder was just like, oh, he's doing some internet show. This is kind of cool. WWE should use this guy. That was a different thing. Jey Uso is a guy who spent years working his way up the ladder, and the fans respected him for that he grinded and worked his way up. And then they told this great storyline where Roman Reigns was putting him down and treating him like a second level guy beneath Roman Reigns, not at Roman Reigns' level. And Jey Uso had to rise up. And WWE told that story so well that the fans organically got behind him.
But Aaron, this was like 2 years ago. He's been called main event Jey Uso for 2 years, and he's been in the mid card until
you
now.
know what? Over the past 2 years, people were complaining, Jey Uso, why are they calling him main event Jey Uso? And now they put him in the main event, and people are complaining.
It's too late. The shark has been
Look
jumped.
at the crowd reactions. How is it too late? If the
I
crowd
don't feel
wasn't
it's been
reacting
2
to
years.
him,
He's been main event Jay for about a year, maybe a little over.
Well, I mean, anyone that had a one-word catchphrase would get over. Look at Fandango. Do you think he should have won the Rumble? Everyone was doing the dance.
he was a flavor of the month.
But everyone
I
was
figured
doing
it out. TJS, Cena and Punk. The summer of 2011 did not happen for him again. Gino, real quick, because I want to pass over to Aaron here.
Oh no, you can go to Aaron.
Okay,
We've moved on.
Aaron, go ahead. And then the main event's going to be combined. We're going to talk a little bit more about Rock and Roman Reigns. But go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, we got a lot of super chats, so let me get to this.
We might even bump Rock and Roman Reigns next week. We'll see how this goes here, Aaron.
All right, so let's get to some of the super chats. So first of all, this one comes from Tiger, who sent in €2. Thank you for that. Tiger says, how does WWE get guys to come back like Alexa Bliss, CM Punk, and so forth? Well, the easy answer is right here.
And
Money
Vince
talks.
is no longer there.
I mean, Bret Hart came back, and
It's simple. They give him a phone call and set up a meeting. That's how they do it.
Yeah.
it's money, and the limelight is addictive. Like, it's like a drug being out there. So many wrestlers will tell you, being out there performing, like you get addicted to it, and you want to be able to come back and feel the roar of the crowd. Son.
Yeah, but I will say something I've seen a lot with Triple H, even before he took over. He has really done a great job at repairing so many damaged relationships. CM Punk, Bruno, people who you never thought was coming back to WWE. Even just the footage I saw recently where Bret Hart came back, and he's up here shaking Bret Hart's hand despite all the things Bret said about him in interviews. So I think Triple H really knows how to not take a lot of this stuff personal and really do what's best for business and give these legends the recognition they deserve. So many legends have been coming out on social media just talking about how WWE treats them better than anything they've ever seen before previously during the previous regime.
Look at Jesse Ventura.
Yep.
And his swinger shirt that he wore.
I mean, I'm going to call it right now. Everybody clip this. TJS, timestamp it, clip it. One day, Jon Moxley will be back in WWE. I don't know when, but it will happen. He will be there, and I think Kenny Omega will be there. So
what about Jericho?
That. Yes, 100% Jericho will be back in a WWE ring one day. I mean, I think pretty much everybody that hasn't been there will be there at some point, and I think Moxley will be back one day.
The fact they're name dropping these guys in retro video packages while still being under AEW contract pretty much says that.
Yeah. I mean,
all right, get these super chats done here.
All right, Psycho Jet Black is here, so you know what that means. We're going an hour and a half tonight, baby. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat, says, do you think WWE and Charlotte Flair wishes she could be the baby face that everybody cheers, or is she satisfied with having a heel reaction? I think as long as she's getting a reaction, that's what matters. You know, she wants the crowd to care. If they don't care,
and you know what,
Aaron,
everybody knew she had to recover from that injury, and just recently found out that her and Andrade got divorced, and yet they still like booing her. Like, it's just
that
amazing.
pissed me
I
off.
thought wrestling fans were compassionate, and even if they don't like the push of somebody because of who they are, when certain things are like known, they kind of like show their respect. Man, like, it's just it makes me like Charlotte even more when I just hear like there's just people that don't like her, and that's how the same Roman Reigns situation was from 2015 to 2020.
Yeah,
so
Gino,
good for her.
Yeah, in all fairness, if it is Tiffany, I mean, they're just booking the crowd into a corner because the crowd is not going to cheer Charlotte over Tiffany. You might as well turn Charlotte based on the reaction. Tiffany's been like, it's been awkward, right? Charlotte like is having to come out and try and force the baby face on us. Not for, I don't remember force, but you know, she's not getting the reaction. Tiffany's out here still trying to force the heel gimmick. Like, we want to cheer for you, girl.
Right.
Like, why is the company not letting us do that? Like, she was hyping us up when she did the prettiest moonsault to win the, you know. So it feels odd that they're trying to do this, which makes me think that they're going to be against each other.
Yeah.
And I would love to face Tiffany Stratton versus heel Charlotte. I'm the queen. I'm better than you. Freaking deal with it. You don't like it? Too bad.
She
You're
probably
gonna get used to
enjoys
seeing
it.
me.
She probably
Yeah.
enjoys it. A lot of them prefer being heels because it's more fun to be a heel. You know, it's really tough to get the fans to love you, unless, of course, you ask TJS and he'll say, "We'll just come up with a one-word catchphrase and they'll love you."
Yeah, it's it's a 3 words. It's Stiffy time, and they love her.
Charlotte has the woo and they still boo her. So I mean,
Yeah.
she gets cheers too. I mean, very, very mixed reaction.
I mean,
but yeah.
it's so weird that they cheered her coming out to the Rumble, but then last night when she was trying to be get the sympathy and empathy from the crowd, like they just shit on her.
Well, I think they'll pop for anyone like that is coming back as a surprise. In the Rumble, they'll pretty much pop for anyone. And I did hate that they were booing her last night, and I really hate.
But
that
she wasn't a
It's
surprise.
because she's getting a title shot.
Oh yeah, I
Comes
guess
right
she
back,
wasn't.
gets right in the big shot. They don't like when people are booked strong.
She
They've
wasn't a
already
surprise.
had
They
plenty
announced
of
her
moments.
in the Rumble.
That is, yeah, that's true. Well, I don't know. I feel like when the countdown hits 0, they're gonna pop for whoever comes out. I feel like. Aaron, would you agree? Aaron and Son, you guys were there. Were they just popping for anyone?
Well, if the
Most.
music was off, like poor Finn Balor, we
Oh.
were like 3,
Oh
2,
my
1.
God, Finn.
The music hit, and everybody's like, "Oh!" And then they show Finn Balor on the Tron. It's like, "Yeah!" Like
They show F.
Oh, yeah,
X,
his-
X.
Yeah, it's Tron doesn't
But
even say his name. It's
actually,
so stupid.
Charlotte Flair did get a positive reaction both when she won. She got a massive pop when she eliminated Nia Jax, which that's clearly what Nia Jax was there, get the heat on everybody, so that way Charlotte got the pinfall. So yeah, it was pretty interesting that the following night they would boo her, but yeah, she actually got a positive reaction there in Indianapolis.
All right, Aaron, back to you. Super chats.
All right.
Oh my God, 13.
Yeah, so we're going to be here a while. King Cray sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that, King Cray. Much appreciated. Says, I made LA win and Cena win the chamber on my WWE 2K video game. Well, you know what? Maybe Cena will win the chamber. LA Knight, not so much. I did notice, and Son, tell me if you agree with me on this, and maybe the rest of you can chime in too. I felt like he kind of got like a okay pop, but not at the level of 2023's SummerSlam. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, when I think I was saying when we were walking the streets of Detroit in 2023, it was yeah here and yeah
Yep, and
there.
guess
And
what
let
it
me
was
talk to
this
you
year?
here. It was all Jey Uso Yeet stuff. He did get a massive pop when he came out. But in terms of like enthusiasm, it was like LA Knight. It was like yeah. Jey Uso was like yeah, Jey Uso. Everybody's like yeah. It was like that. So yeah, it didn't seem as strong. But I definitely think he's still over though.
Yeah,
I think they put LA Knight at a bad number. I don't. He was too late in it. I almost forgot that he even existed. I was literally like, "Oh, he hasn't been over. He hasn't been in it already." Okay,
He'll
whatever.
win
That's what I thought
Drake.
too.
I'm surprised they didn't have John Cena and Penta do the Mexican Destroyer spot that I mentioned last week, but maybe Cena couldn't do that much, and you know that's why they didn't have him do that. He's still
Last thing you
finishing
want
his
is for
movie
him
up.
to get hurt.
So here's a $2 super chat from Psycho Jet Black. Thank you, Psycho Jet Black. Says, will John Cena have a world title match at WrestleMania? I think he will. I think
hope.
it's going to be WrestleMania. It's either going to be...
It's very likely now, unless they're setting up his post-WrestleMania speech there that made it sound like it's going to happen. They're going to have to find a way to get him in this dirty blood feud with somebody that keeps him from it to where he'll want to have a match against them. And that's very unlikely. I can't think of anybody that would work with. So he's probably going to be the one to face Cody.
Here's another reason I think it should be John Cena versus Gunther, though. We know that, well, I'm trying to think what would be the best scenario, because I feel like Roman Reigns, if they're doing the triple threat, Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, that's got to be a main event of one of the nights, right? And then Cody's match would be the main event of the other night. So I guess if they did do John Cena versus Cody, you could do Gunther versus Jey Uso earlier in the card. But that's the one thing, like if I was going to criticize...
It probably would open the show.
If I was going to criticize Jay's win, it's the fact that they announced the winner of the Royal Rumble is main eventing WrestleMania when we know that that's not always the case. I'd rather they just stop saying that and instead just say the winner of the Royal Rumble, the winner of the Royal Rumble gets a guaranteed title match against any champion of their choosing. Problem solved. By saying it's the main event and then that person's not in the main event, I think that's why some people are frustrated with this, because people are thinking there's no way WWE is going to put Jey Uso in the final match of either night, unless it's Cody. They might do it if it's Cody. And you know what? They could do that. That's what I'm thinking. If they did that with Cody, then John Cena and Gunther could be earlier in the card, and people would not complain about that.
Would you crap your pants if they did Jey versus Cody and that Rock that night interjected himself, showed up, and won the match?
Let's do it.
Walked out of WrestleMania the champion. And that's why Jay's in that spot. But again, I'm thinking maybe it's to buy some more time too, because last year they were in a pickle when The Rock decided to do WrestleMania, but it was after Cody won the Rumble with Jey winning. And it's not saying it's going to happen. We've got to kind of think that Rock's not going to be any part of it other than maybe showing up one of the nights to say something or maybe do a run-in. But I don't know. Jay's got it right now. He's got the spot.
Yep, he's got it.
Not happy.
Aaron, didn't I?
Yeah, if Cena does have a match, I don't think he's winning it. I personally think he's winning it later down the line, towards the end of his career run, maybe with a Money in the Bank cash in type of. This is my last chance to get a guaranteed title shot, So I either way, if he's got the match, I still think he takes the L and gets it later down the line.
With as long-winded as we've been in the super chats, just so everybody knows, I'm saying this now. This is going to be our first ever to be continued NoDQ review. The Roman Reigns and Rock discussion I had set for the main event tonight will be guaranteed main event discussion next week. So we'll have a week to see if we've getting any more.
Oh, I think we
we'll
might
watch
have
another
lost them.
SmackDown, another Raw, but we thought those guys going forward. We're just not going to have time tonight. So this will be a to be continued, but we will finish with all of these super chats tonight. The super chats have taken over the main event.
Yeah.
Those topics won the Royal
Crazy.
Rumble, and they'll get the main event next week.
Crazy.
Listen, Virtue, I like the idea of John Cena versus Gunther. I like the idea, as you mentioned earlier, Jey Uso should pick Cody Rhodes. If he really wants the main event of WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes is the guy to pick.
That's
I know
the title. That's the top of the. I mean, it is.
I know it'll make him look kind of like, he's scared of Gunther, but they can work around that. I really think Cody's got to sell it on Friday SmackDown, and they go with that. And then John Cena can win the Chamber, face Gunther. He has to face Gunther because Jey Uso would be picking Cody Rhodes. And that match can be the semi-main. John Cena versus Cody can be the semi-main, and then Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins can have the main event of night one. And that way CM Punk gets his WrestleMania main event. Roman Reigns technically gets another WrestleMania main event. To me, that right now is the best scenario, I think. But let's get to the super chats here from Psycho Jet Black. So on the topic of Roman Reigns, is that triple threat the biggest one? Because he says, what is the biggest match that Roman Reigns can have without The Rock? Is it John Cena, Cody Rhodes, Seth Punk, Jacob Fatu, Drew McIntyre, or someone unexpected? Like,
if he's not in a title match, I want one-on-one with Punk. I don't want a triple threat with Roman. It just, I know Seth did the thing after the match, and they have the history. But it just doesn't, I do not want that. Roman has to have a one-on-one match, either title match or versus Punk.
Yeah.
Well, this is how it's going to go, I think. So it could be Rollins versus Roman, but Heyman still owes Punk a favor, and that's how Punk gets into it.
Well, that's what
I know that's not your fondest idea, Virtue, but I think that's how Punk gets into the main event.
I mean, Roman is bigger than the title to me, but it'd be crazy for that to be a main event.
I understand, but if you'll talk about it next week. But if The Rock has nothing to do with WrestleMania this year, but doing an appearance,
but again, all of this Big G could be buying more time.
Besides Cena,
Dwayne could slip himself in.
It could.
Like in Dumb and Dumber.
Saying
there's a chance, son.
Yeah, I agree. The biggest match, and that's the one I want to see the most if Rock's not involved, CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, because like I said, I have been waiting a long time to finally see CM Punk in the main event, and Roman Reigns is definitely the route to go. And I just think there's something so refreshing, because for so long Roman Reigns has been involved with the bloodline. Everything that he's done the last half decade, it's been revolving around the bloodline. So to take him out of that now, and now it's basically based on him and Paul Heyman's relationship with both CM Punk and Roman Reigns, I think makes for a lot of compelling TV. But the way they ended that in the Royal Rumble, they really made it look like they're trying to do a triple threat match or something with Seth Rollins and CM Punk and Roman
only
Reigns.
Triple threat I'd want Roman to be in is if he was in a match with Cody and someone else, like Cody, Punk, and Reigns, like for the title. I just, a triple threat without a title match just blows my mind for Roman Reigns.
It makes me wonder too. I don't know if they're gonna go this route, but I'm like, what if they're gonna go crazy and just throw in all the big main eventers, Cena, Seth Rollins, Punk, Roman, all against Cody, so that way that's our night 2 main event, this big huge multi match, and then therefore there's no one left but Gunther and Jey Uso. I don't know, but man, I want to see Punk versus CM Punk versus Roman Reigns 1-on-1 though.
Yeah, I agree. To answer the question, to me, that's the biggest match for Roman Reigns would be a singles match with CM Punk. They manned him going with a triple threat. We'll have to deal with it. But yeah, I think I would prefer the singles match between them. I just think it would be more interesting to have the one-on-one match instead of doing a triple threat. But anyways, the Real Wyatt sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, we need to appreciate Charlotte. She's almost done. I don't think she's almost done. I think she's got like another 10 years left.
Yeah, she's going to be like a 27-time champion by the time she's done.
She might. Yeah.
You got
just need to accept it. I say it every video. Yeah.
I mean, she is the best.
You got Asuka and Asuka. Who else was in their 40s now? It's Asuka and Natalya are both still going strong. You've got Trish Stratus nearly in her 50s, going still strong. I think Charlotte is gonna be around for a long time to come.
Food poisoning.
Mickey James.
Well, that's what Tito is saying. You gave him food poisoning, Aaron.
Oh yeah, right.
So I just read that. So well, I'm sure he's better now.
Well, apparently it was a Dr. Pepper and not the actual food. I don't think he actually ate anything there. So
was he wearing the mask during the dinner?
No, he was not. He actually.
Well, that's why he's sick.
He's
allergic to the air.
Yeah, maybe.
Well,
maybe
Tito seems like he's doing okay because he commented. But Aaron, back to you. We got to finish these super chats.
Yeah.
There's 13 of them.
We only got 13 left, guys.
Rapid fire. Come on.
Good Lord.
All right, let me get to these here. All right, next one comes from Psycho Jet Black. Thank you, Psycho Jet Black. Says, I appreciate Braun Strowman's favorite son, TJS. Maybe if Braun Strowman won, if it was a swerve and it was Braun Strowman that won, TJS would be happy.
You know what?
That would make
Braun
no
Strowman,
sense.
He used to have get these hands, and guess what? He never. Well, I guess he did win the world title from Goldberg at the pandemic WrestleMania, but I feel like Strowman could have been the guy.
He won the world's greatest Royal Rumble too.
Oh yes, he did.
Big trophy.
And you know what? Maybe he'll win next year because it's going to be in Saudi Arabia again.
I think Yokozuna might be winning that one.
Yeah, you might be right on that. They might have to bring him out, bring him from the grave. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat. Psycho Jet Black says, Zack Ryder being pushed off the stage by Kane has more credibility than Scrubby Allen. Seriously, Jay has haters because his matches aren't that great. You agree with that, TJS? You think he's a bad wrestler?
Well, Aaron, he has had good matches. Like you said, the tag team Hell in a Cell match with New Day, the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos at WrestleMania a few years ago. Very good. But
his matches with Roman 1-on-1 have both been good. Or above average.
Yes, I think it just depends on the person that he's working with. But inherently, no, I don't think he's bad.
Gino.
Yeah, just real quick. We mentioned a little bit ago, do you think that, or TJS mentioned, do you think that Jay should really be the one to dethrone Cody after Cody beat Roman? We got to remember, Jay was the first person to get a pinfall victory, even in a tag match, over Roman Reigns prior to his reign ending. So they've kind of been planting the seeds that he's got it for a while now. That's just something that came to my mind based on that comment.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've seen a lot of people compare this to Jeff Hardy at Jeff and Matt. How this is similar to Jeff's rise whenever he became WWE champion. So.
And listen, okay, so Maddie sent it a $2 super chat, said my comparison to Bryan Danielson was ridiculous. Listen, I'm not saying Jey Uso is even close to being at Bryan Danielson's level of technical greatness, but I think the comparison comes as both of them had similar career rises. Both of them became fan favorites organically, and then they both had the catchphrase, which helped take them to even a higher level. The difference is WWE fought pushing Bryan Danielson, and with Jey Uso, it's something that they've embraced and something that they've been, the guy's over, let's push him.
Would you say that Jey is a B+ player, Aaron?
I say he's an A player.
I mean, I'd say A-.
Yeah, A-.
And that's
he's gonna get that. He's gonna get that monster video package, the Imagine Dragons monster.
Well, hopefully something better than Imagine Dragons for starters. With all due respect to any fans.
Me and Aaron
of
were
Imagine
doing
Dragons.
this Google Trends stuff, and I was throwing in all kinds of wrestlers, and Jey was hanging with Cena, Rock, above Roman. So it's working. Whether you like him or not, him winning the Royal Rumble is making him relevant, and that's what WWE likes. And so it worked for them. I'm not going to deny people searching him, and you could say they're searching him to hate on him while they're spending their time looking up Jey Uso.
And TJS, Gunther is basically telling Jey to his face, not a good wrestler. He shouldn't have won. It's waste of Gunther's talent at WrestleMania. So basically taking all of those complaints that people who are against Jey winning, not necessarily against Jey as a person, but against him winning, Gunther's basically playing that right into the storyline. So it's you could lace my boots, and you might not be wrong.
The Jey issue, it's this. People were conditioned to think Cena was going to win because of the odds, the betting odds, the dirt sheets. And then Punk was their favorite if Cena didn't win. And neither one of them won. And that's why people are saying this about. I mean, TJS just told us Cena and Punk were his 1 and 2 more or less, but Jey Uso won. They're not they're just gonna not like it, and that I guess that's okay. But sometimes you got to have somebody win that nobody expected. And
look,
give them the rub. Let him beat Gunther at WrestleMania, and even if he only holds the title till SummerSlam and loses it, then he can say he was a former champion, main event Jey, and it worked. And they're gonna sell a lot of T-shirts. He's got that fan base before the catchphrase dies out. That's what they look at.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to let it play out, but I love Gunther, and I don't know. I just don't want Jey to be the one to beat him because I feel like this reign has been so lackluster.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather it be John Cena at this point. I'd rather they go that route and let Jey go after Cody. That makes more sense to me.
You know what? I agree. And if Jey goes after Cody, maybe I'll change my mind about this whole thing. We'll see.
Dude, if Jey challenges Cody and wins that title, that would just be insane of how the bloodline and that long run by Roman evolved. Just absolutely insane. Not in a bad way, a good insane.
Right.
Aaron?
All right, let's get to the super chats. Psycho Jet Black sent in $5. Thank you for that. Says, prediction. Jey Uso will defend a world title against Jimmy and have a match to redeem themselves from WrestleMania 40. One of them should change their style. Well, I don't think they're going to have another match against each other. I disagree with that one. I think, they're on good terms again. Never say never, but I think it was just like a one and done thing. They just wanted to do the match so they could say they had the match. I don't think we need to see that. And Jimmy's a baby face now too. They're kind of like the Hardy Boys. You don't really want to see them against each other. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe brothers just, unless you're Brett and Owen, people don't want to see the brothers fighting. Owen was just a top tier heel. But I think Jimmy and Jey are better as babyface characters, much like I think the Hardys are better as babyface characters. And, the Hardys, I never got into Matt versus Jeff, and same thing with Jimmy versus Jey. So I don't think we need to see it again. I don't think it's going to happen.
Next.
All right. We got one here from the This Guy Experience. Cena is heavily advertised for the Elimination Chamber. Of course, he Is
Lost.
that? Of course he lost. Well,
Yeah, a
he
lot of us
lost-
said that. Like I said that. I said I don't know if he'll win the
Me too.
Rumble based on him being advertised so heavily for the Chamber.
Yeah,
That's
you did.
actually what made me switch my pick from the betting on favorite to Cena to Roman, because
Yeah,
I was like,
that- me
there's no
too.
way they're doing that. Yeah.
Me too. So
Same.
John Cena wasn't even my first pick for the Royal Rumble, despite him being the betting odds favorite. I just felt like they might save it for the Chamber because of the fact that they've been building the Chamber around him. And why put him in the Chamber if he's winning the Royal Rumble? Wouldn't make any sense. So yeah, that should have been the giveaway right there, that he was so heavily advertised for it. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says main event Jay is better than prelim scrub Darby. Man, what happens if Darby doesn't come back from Mount Everest? You're going to feel really bad, Psycho Jet Black.
I don't know that he will, though. It sure feels like he might be wishing that with a voodoo doll or something.
His name is Psycho.
I think he's going
Or-
to go there. He's going to get to the pre-base camp, and then I tried.
Yeah.
You don't think
no,
he's
that-
gonna jump off?
Or
No,
he'll
he
say
ain't
like
going- he ain't
he'll
going
say
up
like
there.
they were
He'll
forbidden
go-
to do it.
Dude, even the first base camp is like insane. I don't
Mhm.
I don't know, man.
It's more than just being a stunt guy. It's like a test of endurance. It's
Anyway,
all these
who
different
cares
things.
about
Yeah.
that? Aaron,
Yeah,
next.
who cares about Scrubby?
All right, Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. Says they're not saying boo, they're saying boo earns. Everybody remember that great clip from The Simpsons?
Of course.
That's a classic one right there.
90
Thank you for
Simpsons,
that.
a classic indeed.
Can't go wrong with 90 Simpsons. The Real Wyatt sent in a $2 super chat. Says, what does Becky do at WrestleMania? IC title? What do you guys think? Yeah, maybe Lyra Valkyria.
Yeah, her.
Was she at
Yeah.
she was at last year's WrestleMania, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
against
Becky.
Rhea.
Maybe she skipped.
Yeah.
Maybe she skips a WrestleMania or just does a appearance.
I could
Yeah.
definitely see her versus Lyra for the IC title, and she gets
Yeah.
her win back against Lyra because Lyra beat her for the NXT title.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's
I mean,
her. That's a girl. Yeah.
yeah, but Becky should be in the world title picture. You know, she doesn't need to be going for the IC title, but hey, it keeps her busy, gives her
I
something
do
to do.
wonder, though, if they're going to probably put the IC title on Becky to try to elevate it the way Cena did for the U.S. title, give more credibility for the mid-card titles. I wonder if they're going to do that.
Yeah, they might. We'll see what they do. I mean, it's possible she just skips out WrestleMania and comes back after. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Psycho.
God.
Says, imagine John Cena versus Penta, full of package pile drivers, suicide dives, Canadian destroyers, and moonsaults. Watch Meltzer give it 3.5 stars. Well, he gave Gunther versus Jey Uso 4.5, so
Did he really give it
He did.
4.5?
legit.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe he just loves Gunther, and Jey Uso just needs to keep working with Gunther, and he's guaranteed to have
So
great
he's going to
matches.
take credit now for getting Jey Uso into the main event of WrestleMania. I'm waiting for that to come out in one of his podcasts.
Yeah, maybe Triple H read the Wrestling Observer newsletter, saw the 4.5, and he's like, "Oh my God, we got to put Jey Uso in the main event of WrestleMania, so we're guaranteed a 4.5 star match."
Yeah, I'm sure Triple H watches Cage Match a lot too. Keeps up with those ratings.
Next.
Oh, man.
Alright,
All
let's
right.
keep it going. Next.
The Real Wyatt sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, main event, Jey Uso has to be in the main event. Well, simple. He goes for Cody Rhodes, right, guys?
Sure.
Yep.
All right, there you go. Because we know Gunther and Jey Uso will not be main eventing. I don't think they will. I think they'll be, at best, second to last. Maybe opening match, to be honest. And I think that's one of the reasons why some people have been critical of that decision. All right, Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, CM Punk versus Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman as the special guest referee. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Yeah, Paul.
I
Heyman
can't
is
see
not
Heyman
referee.
getting down for those pin counts, to be honest. So
I don't know if Paul is able to maneuver as quickly as a referee.
You know
He
what?
just
I
needs to
wouldn't
be at
mind-
ringside with his big old face, making
I
sure the
wouldn't
hard
mind-
camera's picking it up.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind if they did the gimmick where he's got the towel and, they tease he might throw in the towel for one of the guys.
What about him in a shark cage?
No. I mean, those shark cage gimmicks never work for me. They don't work for me, brother. All right, Mr. Tito sent in a $2 super chat. Shout out to Mr. Tito. Mr. Tito says, is Jey Uso more valuable as a chaser or a champion?
Chaser.
He's chasing right now. And, when he's a champion, it could be a scenario where people get sick of him. But that didn't happen with Cody Rhodes. People thought Cody Rhodes was going to get booed as champion, and he's been champion now for almost a year, and people are still behind him. So,
well, but like if he leaves WrestleMania still champion, that'll definitely, I think, start happening after WrestleMania.
Yeah, I agree. And if anything, Jay beating Cody doesn't have to be a long-term thing. Jay doesn't need a year run as champion. They could do 6 months or something like that. But thank you for the super chat, Mr. Tito. And Real Wyatt sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, women don't last as long in wrestling like the men do.
Well, wait a minute. What about Mae Young and Fabulous Moolah? They were wrestling when they were like 80.
There you go.
Taking power bombs from the Dudleys.
Natalia's been hanging in there, and she ain't showing any signs of slowing down.
Well, part of the thing was the old mentality. Like back in the day, the thought process was that like once you're 30 years old, you're over the hill because they were just focused on looks, and they always wanted to bring in younger, attractive models that were in their early 20s, and by the time you were 30, you were yesterday's news. So it's changed now. Like I think a lot of the women you see now in WWE will still be around in a decade, and that's a big change from how it was prior to the women's revolution in WWE. All right, Tiger sent in a €2 super chat. Virtue, why do fans feel that they know best? Entitlement? What do you think?
Well, they're conditioned to hear these things that are supposed to happen from the internet, from the sources that you cite on your site, and that's why. I mean, and in some cases that stuff's happened, and now, hey, we want to be in the know, and when it doesn't happen,
we need another virtue video. We need another virtue with him. We need another virtues crying video with Jey Uso.
Yeah, Gino.
Yeah, and I've said this before, but I want to reiterate it for the people that haven't heard it, not necessarily here, but in the crowd as well. Right? Sometimes we as fans of any entertainment, we let our speculation become expectation. And when that happens, you'll never be happy unless what you expect happens. So I think that's where it kind of comes down. We let the speculation or what's out there become our expectation, and then we feel dumb.
Very true. I mean, I agree with that.
Rock and Roman's still going to happen, even if I got to wait a year or two.
God, please let it happen. Please.
It will. My patience is a virtue.
There you go.
New shirt.
New T-shirt. All right, Mr. Anderson sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Says, Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar with a Paul Heyman on a pole match at WrestleMania 41. I don't mind the triple threat idea of all the Heyman guys. I wouldn't do the Heyman on a pole part of it, but
I just want Brock to come back.
Well, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately. All right, we got one here from Psycho Jet Black. He sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Psycho. It says, just realized TJS looks like a Basham brother. Do you know who the Bashams are, TJS?
No.
Doug and Danny Basham.
Doug and Danny.
Oh, he's going to look them up, so we'll get
right? Was that her name?
We'll get a
She was their valet.
Yeah,
early 2000s.
Some kinky gimmick.
Yeah, I don't know. They're bald.
That's it. They're bald.
Aaron, are we the new Basham brothers?
No, because they did this kinky thing with their characters, and I don't know if I want to be part of that. Go look them up.
Oh.
Look them up.
After this. You don't have to do it right now. Okay. We got one more here from the Learning Sicko, Dr. Bropio, who sent in $5. Thank you for that. It says, Charlotte Flair. I can't even pronounce this. Who is this?
Frieza.
Who is that?
He is the Emperor of the Universe in Dragon Ball.
Okay, thank you for that. That's why I didn't know who that was. Saying that if Flair fan embraced the booze, she better as a heel. You agree with that?
I better help out with this one. Frieza is if there was a heel like Frieza, then way beyond Charlotte Flair is a heel. Frieza is one of the most ruthless, cold-hearted, evil villains ever, but he's very polite speaking with it. He's a guy that will take someone's arm off and be like, "Here, you can have it back as a back scratcher." Until I can see Charlotte Flair be that ruthless, she no Frieza. She's a good heel, but no Frieza level heel.
No, she is not. No.
It's always fun when we get TJS on here. All right, one more from the real Wyatt. And then
Wait, is this the actual real Wyatt?
Well,
gosh.
could have the name Wyatt. I mean, there's a lot of people with the name Wyatt.
Oh my God. Here we
Says,
go.
are we going to get the 4 horsewomen match at WrestleMania? Well, if that includes
No.
Mercedes Moné, she's collecting that Tony Khan money, and I don't see that changing for the foreseeable future. I mean, she's got a nice contract there.
I think one day.
Maybe one day, as they say, never say never. But yeah, maybe we'll get that eventually. Thank you for the super chat, the real Wyatt. Go ahead.
At the end of their careers, like when Charlotte, Becky, Bayley, Mercedes, they're all ready to call it quits, I think that could be a fine retirement match. The 4 of them go out together if things work out like that at the end of their careers.
Yeah, I mean, that would be an interesting idea to put them in there. Like, has that ever happened before? Like a 4-way retirement match?
No, keep it going. Just keep it going.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, "Who is the Jeff Jarrett of Dragon Ball Z?"
This is a good one for Big G.
I would say, I'm trying to think, out of Dragon Ball Z.
He's thinking of the worst character.
It's got to be Master.
I'm going to go with, I was going to say Yamcha.
All right, let's not get started with Jeff Jarrett. We went one stream without AEW talk. Let's try to keep it that way.
You
All
stumped
right,
me on that
more.
one. I'm a Dragon Ball fan.
One more from Psycho Jet Black, and then we'll do our plugs. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. Thank you, Psycho. Says TJS is Frieza with a beard and a literal baby face.
I know Frieza's weakness, so Aaron, slide me over one. Put me in TJS's spot and slide everybody over one. Can you do that? We got to put TJS in the middle.
Oh, wrong way.
I got his weakness.
No, got to do it this way. Tickle.
Everybody get him.
Rub that bald head.
Look,
Real nice.
he's cracking. He's about to come around on Jay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeet.
Yeet. All right, I think we
We
can
did
do the
it.
plugs.
Ready? We done?
Let's get to the
All
plugs.
right, let's do our plugs. TJS, go ahead.
X at TYLRJSPHSMTH. Truth Social. Follow me there. At Tyler Joseph Smith. And that's it.
All right.
No yeet.
Thank you, TJS. All right, Dino.
Yeah, thanks again for having me on. I really appreciate it. Catch me on YouTube, Papagino0017. We'll be live streaming some gaming right after this. Take it away, next guy.
All right, thank you. All right, Son, thank you for being on.
All right. Well, hey, it is always a pleasure to come on here. And on my own YouTube channel, I will be reviewing Royal Rumble 2025, as well as ranking all 4 matches. Also, for the Dragon Ball fans, I'll be reviewing Dragon Ball episodes 16 and 17, live streaming on my YouTube channel right there. So you can find me at Sun Go Shuoku. I'll leave a comment below. You can click on that, and you can follow me on all social media platforms right there. Also, thank you so much again. Like I said, it is always a pleasure to come on here and talk wrestling. Aaron, it was great to meet up with you. Aaron and Caitlin all had a blast. My friends enjoyed meeting you all after basically following your channel for so long. So just fantastic. And I'll end on this too, saying that when being out there live, wrestling fans, the ones that go out there and was spending their money and everything, so much positivity. So sometimes I think we got to remember not to get caught up on all these negative stuff that we see other wrestling fans put, because I tell you, at the Royal Rumble, there was so much love and positivity walking into the stadium, especially when Jey Uso won. So let's always remember that. Like Noah always says, you know, pro wrestling, it's something that's beautiful and definitely brings people together. And most importantly, all for those of you watching here on NoDQ, remember to always support NoDQ.com.
Thank you, Son. All right, Big G.
Yes, Harley and Joker 2021 on YouTube if you're a cat fan. NoDQ _ Big Baller G on X, and NoDQ _ Big Biology on 1988 on the Instagram.
Wait, where's the TikTok thing?
Oh yeah, and TikTok Big Biology 1988. I'm back on TikTok.
Back.
TikTok
Yeah.
is back also.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Big G. And Aaron, you know what? We kind of glossed over Kevin Owens' performance in the ladder match. Nobody
was
really
great.
talked about
Brutal
Yeah.
performance.
that. Kudos to him.
All right, well, we
He's
got to
so
go because we got some competition. Apparently, Fandango is back in NXT.
What?
Oh,
Or
wow.
JDC.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah.
You're up now, Aaron.
Check that
All
out.
right. The Real Wyatt sent in a $2 super chat, says, who is the best option to dethrone Jon Moxley as AEW World Champion? Well, I was going to say Fandango, but now he's back in WWE, so that's out. I guess Will Ospreay.
Ospreay for sure.
Yeah, Will Ospreay, I think, is the best choice. Definitely not, this will make you happy, definitely not Darby Allin. I would not go with Darby Allin.
I wanted Jeff Jarrett to do it. I really did.
Okay, so you're mad about Jey Uso, but you wanted Jeff Jarrett to.
Jeff Jarrett
He's
has
all over
paid
the
his
place.
dues, damn it.
I think you just wanted to have Jeff Jarrett win to see how Big G would react.
He has paid his dues, damn it.
Yeah, he paid his dues, that's for sure. Many times over. All right, Big G's ready to go now. You're going to make him throw up here talking about Jeff Jarrett, so let's get out of here. NoDQ.com will keep you updated, and I'll be back with the Dynamite recap with SmackDown, and we got Elimination Chamber, so stay tuned. NoDQ.com. Virtue?
All right, check out the merch on nodq.com/merch, and that's who we're going to talk about next week, those two guys. X.com, if you dare, at NoDQ_virtue. But this has been the NoDQ Review 321 for TJS, for Gino, for Big G, for Son, for Aaron, and the whole NoDQ crew and galaxy. I am Virtue. Good night, everybody. See you again next week.
Yeet.
No yeet.
Yeet.
No yeet.
Yeet.
What?
No yeet.
Yeah.
Yeet.
No yeet.
Yeet.
No yeet. No
Yeet.
yeet. No yeet.
Yeet.
No yeet. Please.
But
No.
that's all, folks.
No yeet. No
Yeet.
yeet. No
Yeet.
yeet. Please. No.
Yeet.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
We're
yes,
No.
yeeting
yes,
all over
yes.
the place, TJS, whether you like it or not.
Bye, guys.
No. No. We're live. No yeet. Oh, God. No. 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 No yeet. Ah. Okay. What the? I think it's just me. It's just me, Oos.
They wanted. I was waiting for it to end too. All right, guys. Don't forget to follow NoDQ. We'll catch you on the next one.
What? How long will this go? Oh, hello. Yes. I just wanted to give my review of the Trump presidency thus far.